This is Mike Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with the Internal Revenue Service. This is going to be a very unusual YouTube for most of you because I usually do teaching and all this, and I've been involved with IRS for been doing work for 50 years. I worked at IRS for 10 years. I've been in private practice for 40. I am doing an introduction and a forward for my dear friend Ruben Valdez, who we're teaming up on a book, and the book is going to be translated in Spanish. And I've been asked to give some golden tips about IRS matters. So today you're going to be hearing a forward. You can just forget this video if you're not interested in listening to my forward for his book. But it's important that I do this. Ruben and I are teaming up in an IRS collection book that people and practitioners can learn from, and they're going in business. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to encourage professionals to get into tax resolution, especially in the Hispanic and Latin communities, and any foreign communities at all that need to know this book that's going to be translated in Spanish to them. So I just want to tell you who I am because it's necessary for the book. So I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but at the end of the day, if a person's going to read a book, they have to know really who I am as a person and what I've done and what my accomplishments were. I hate to do this. It's like a bragging thing, but I have to put it in the book, so bear with me. I worked at IRS for 10 years. I was a teaching instructor with Internal Revenue Service. I taught up in Atlanta. The time I worked there, they would send the better agents to get advanced training and different training. And I was lucky enough to teach the offer and compromise program. So I'm an expert in the offer and compromise. I also worked in narcotic trafficking program at IRS. We used to go in and seize the home of the drug lords during the cocaine cowboys. I had a lot of ups and downs with that. I got my car defaced a number of times. I've had guns thrown at me. They try to throw gas on me and light me on fire. I escaped out of a building. I had some undercover work at swap shops to see who filed returns and who didn't. It was amazing that only 7% of people filed at the flea market, where I'm not going to name it, but that's where it was. I've been lucky enough to be on national TV a number of times. I've been on Fox Business News twice. I've been ABC, The Briefing Room, The Washington Bureau. I was the first one to comment on the Donald Trump tax audit. Most people don't know the president and vice president's tax returns are audited every single year. That doesn't get a lot of press, but they do. Every single year, the IRS audits the presidents and vice presidents. There's an order that must happen. So they called me for the first interview of the Donald Trump audit and everything that happened in that. So I've been on national news such as Newsmax, News Nation. I've been quoted in in Bloomberg, the Wall Street. Have been on other stations. I've been on local CBS, NBC, all the major stations I've been on at one time or another. It's scary, when you first get on TV, but I managed to go ahead and get through it, and I look forward to being on TV. As far as me on YouTube, as of this date, I have over 300,000 watch hours, and I have over 7,000 subscribers as of this date. I am a national expert in IRS resolution matters. I'm a veteran revenue officer. I was decorated and got awards as a revenue officer, and I've been practicing, like I said, for 50 years. I'm speaking now to the people who are going in this profession to let you know it's a rich profession. It's very, very rich. At first, when you start this profession, believe it or not, you're there to collect money. That's what you do, and it pays very well because you're solving a lot of people's IRS's issues. You're relieving their pain. And then as you get older, you realize what you're doing. You're really getting into a person's life. And in getting into that life, you have to see what's really going on. My first 15 minutes on talking to a person, any person, I don't even talk about their tax problem. I don't. I want to know about them. I want to know what's going on in their life, and I mean this very, very sincerely. I do that. I pray with my clients at the end of every meeting if they'll allow me to. Only one person has turned me down from that. So if you are getting in the tax resolution business, I encourage you first to go ahead and get to know who your prospective client is. Understand the pains they're going through, understanding the difficulties they're going through. These are real people with real problems. Some of them that I've talked to have been suicidal, that I've had to talk to a number of times and follow up and check on them and get numbers of people in their family to make sure they were not going to commit suicide. This is a very deep and rich and personal profession. It's just not about making money. It's about really going in and helping people. If you do not have a heart and soul and you don't care about people, you should not be in this profession. You really want to get in and solve the problem, because these problems are causing divorce. They're causing these marital breakups. They're causing violence, and you can end that by getting in and relieving the pain, calming the client down, and becoming a bit of a psychiatrist, psychologist, to let people know this is just a speed bump in their life and things are going to get better. So if you're going in the tax resolution business, you go in this with your heart, you go in this with your soul first. That's what you're called to do in a tax resolution business. Everything else will come, and God will richly bless your life if you go ahead and do that. I'm going to enjoy doing this book with Ruben. He's my very, very dear friend, and I'm very anxious for the people and speak other languages to get a hold of this book, because they're going to find this work so rewarding at the end of their career like I am. You will just cry. Thank you.